Well, Darren, very much for joining me once again on game day. And oh dear Lord, that was not good, was it? Goalless draw at Wigan, 11th in League One. Your thoughts as ever? It's like watching paint dry today, weren't it?
There were actually times in the second half where my son kept shouting at me because I was dozing off. So it was, not a great game. Wigan obviously were pretty defensive and closed us down and all those sorts of things, but just so many basic things were wrong today. I'm a massive Andre Dazelle fan. I think he's quality, but today was a very poor performance by him. I think he was just a bit slow, a bit scrappy, a bit loose, just wanted a bit more time than he had. None of his passing really came off. Edwards didn't. I know you're a big fan of Edwards, but he was pretty poor, really.
He's done.
Yeah,
he's done.
Yeah, he wasn't on it at all. I think the only players that really come out of today with much credit, I think Chambers and Toto were pretty solid at the back. Chambers was pretty comfortable, although obviously given a pretty torrid time by their forward. But what we've seen, the last 3 seasons, we just have this big gap between our midfield and one guy up front, and that's been the same pattern for the relegation season and the last 2 seasons. This sort of squad that we have, all the midfielders just want to sit on the ball. They want possession of the ball, and even Teddy, who's a forward-minding. I thought he played all right, actually. Teddy, I thought he did all right first half, certainly. But we just don't have. There's not people who naturally want to do what all of these managers have wanted them to do, with getting forward and running past the striker. So we just have this like possession, and then we lose it, and there's one guy in the box by himself. But then formations seem to be quite fluid today. I think we're all trying to get used to, including the players, obviously, how Paul Cook wants to play. So it did look like 4-4-2 at times, with Judge out on the left. But yeah, a pretty, if we win our games at home and draw away, that's all good. I'm never, getting, just as long as we keep picking up points, then that's fine. But we need to win our home games. But yeah, a pretty boring game, pretty scrappy, not a great advert for League One. And yeah, have we got game Tuesday now? I can't remember. No game Tuesday. Oh, right. Okay. So another week.
Good Friday, bank holiday.
Oh, yeah. Of course. The bank. Yeah. So, look forward to that then. Hopefully there's another game, but I'm sure Paul Cook will be disappointed because he's had a week now which isn't a long time, but he's had some time to kind of get across the players, and what we just watched was not great attacking football. I hope, I don't know if people have got this confirmed. Kane obviously came off at half time, so I don't know if that was just planned. I hope there's no, pull or strain or something, but he looked okay. Obviously a little bit rusty, but he looked okay, and obviously did a good job on there. Can't remember the guy's name now, but they got a pretty quick, rapid left winger, haven't they? So he did a good job against him, but yeah, not a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon, really. So, but we didn't lose. We got a point, so let's get on to Friday and hopefully pick up 3 points.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for joining me once again on game day. And oh dear Lord, that was not good, was it? Another goalless draw to talk about. That was a painful watch. We thought the Fleetwood game was bad today against struggling Wigan. Just nothing there, was it? Your thoughts as ever?
Yeah, a friend of mine offered. I'm in several WhatsApp groups, they're Ipswich fans, and in one of them, a friend of ours offered to let us watch him lay some turf on his lawn this afternoon, and I would have been better off doing that, to be fair. That was dreadful again. Defended okay, centre backs did well, cut out the crosses and everything. There was a bit of increased work rate, I think, in the first half. But, there's a reason teams like Wigan are down where they are. And the fact that we can't... I know it says in the stats that we had, I think, 4 shots on target, but it just felt, again, like we didn't create anything. And anything we did create felt haphazard and by accident. It's, one of those games where it's almost impossible to pick a man of the match. We tried our best to lose it towards the end there. I thought he was going to give a penalty, which would have been kind of a poetic summation of the season if that had happened. And I just think there's a lot of talk at the moment about the players out of contract, and I don't like naming names individually, so I'm not going to. But there are some today that are out of contract in the summer, and I don't know if they realise, some of these players, but there's a global pandemic, and at best, most of them will get a contract from a League One club. League One clubs don't have any money anymore. So you're going to be scrabbling around for £2,000 a week in the summer if you're lucky. And some of them I don't see that reflected in their play. I see a lack of urgency. I see careless, misplaced passing from people who are paid to play football for a living, like really simple 10-yard balls to a teammate. And it's infuriating. But also, and this is one for the owner, what are people actually contributing? I keep hearing that, certain players are assets. Caden Jackson's an asset. We spent a lot of money on him, so we shouldn't let him go in the summer. All right. Last summer, we could have sold Caden Jackson for a profit, and, which I would have loved us to have done, having lived in Bristol and seen him a lot, bought Jonson Clarke-Harris from Bristol Rovers. Jonson Clarke-Harris scored his 26th goal of the season today. Caden Jackson has scored one, and in a crucial game against the promotion rival, Sunderland, got a brainless red card that left us playing almost all the game with 10 men. So it's no good saying a certain player is an asset if they don't contribute anything. What do players contribute? Andre Dazelle is one of our best players, I think, and I'm glad that we've signed him that we got him signed a new deal. But he hasn't scored this year, has he? Bishop started the season on fire. Hasn't done much recently. Gwion Edwards, you remember for us at the start of the season. Where was he today? And I'm sorry, but the closer we get to the end of the season, the more ruthless I become. I'm not a big fan of clear-outs, because the last time we had a big clear-out and a big changeover was when Paul Hurst came in, and look what happened then. But I'm leaning more towards it now, because some of these players got to start putting their hands up for a new deal, and I just don't see it. It's almost like they're sleepwalking towards just getting a new contract anywhere, and I think some of them are going to get a nasty shock in the summer. I still think we will make the playoffs because of our running, but a point today is not a bad point if we'd won at Portsmouth, which we should have done, but we threw that game away when we should have been out of sight by half time. And again, the reason we threw that game away is because we couldn't kill off a team when we were on top, because we couldn't play a final ball, we couldn't cross it, we didn't make the most of set pieces. I mean, how many of our set pieces today were just garbage? We had enough. And yeah, it's a terrible game. A point probably keeps us just about in contention, but we've got to start winning these games soon. We simply have to. And if we're going to do that, it's going to come because some players decide that actually they want to be playing professional football next season.
Well, James, thank you very much for joining me on Game Day. We're going to be talking about the goalless draw at Wigan. Your thoughts on that? Well, dreadful watch, but it wasn't as bad as Northampton goalless draw.
Well, you're right there, but I think that basically we're all suckers for punishment as Ipswich Town fans, because we put ourselves through iFollow every single week this season, and 3/4, 80%, 90% of the games we come away talking about another disappointing, underwhelming Ipswich Town performance. Whether that is we've won when we've really not deserved to win, where we've played like we have today, where we've got a goalless draw against a team in the bottom three, bottom four of the league, and then there's times where we lose and we have deserved to lose. It just seems that this Ipswich Town side just doesn't have the qualities about them that we expect as fans, and it's like a broken record. It is again and again and again. We come away from a game and we are like, we have not created enough chances. We did not even deserve to win that game. Like some games you come away from and you think, oh, we've got 0-0 draw, but like it was a really entertaining 0-0 draw where we deserved to win. We created we had like 10 shots on target and their keeper had an absolutely outstanding performance. Like, don't get me wrong, that was not today. Like, you were looking at those two teams and you were actually questioning who was the team at the bottom of the table and who was the team pushing for the playoffs, because we offered almost nothing, and everything is coming to a head. And that doesn't mean it won't get worse, but I really hope that with Paul Cook having a little bit of time with the team, we've had a little bit of time this week, but it clearly hasn't made that much of a difference, because today was pretty disappointing, in all honesty. I'm hoping that as the weeks go on, we will improve. And this is not me giving Paul Cook a free pass at all. We gave Paul Lambert a free pass when we were in the Championship, and it ended spectacularly horribly, because we got in a pattern of losing games week after week, and we were saying, oh, it's fine because like he's bringing the club together. And yeah, I felt enthused as a fan, and I bought into all of that facade almost. That can't happen this time. Like, we were 2 points off the playoffs when Paul Cook came in. We're 2 points off the playoffs now. We have to improve on that. If we miss out on the playoffs, so be it. I don't think we're going to go up. Like, I don't think our squad has it in them mentally to go up. But we need to show some kind of improvement between now and the end of the season, because it needs to be a little bit of a platform to build on. And yes, I do think that there will be big squad rotations next season. And yes, there might even be behind the scenes big changes too. But you get a mentality of winning, and whether players come in or go out, well, the players coming in, if they're buying into a winning mentality, then it's so much easier to sell it to them. So I want to see improvement between now and the end of the season, because there are players there which has something in them. They might not be good enough to get out of League One, but they're definitely good enough to compete. So we have to show something at some point, and I believe Paul Cook will do that.